There comes a time in a person's life where a particular purchase really marks a milestone. You go from a kid to a teen who works part-time jobs after school, save up as much money as you can to buy that one thing that you really wanted. Then you go from a teen to an adult, you buy that other bigger priced item like a car maybe, like a TV, like a house even, and you're like, this is another period of my life. For me, going from that kid to a teen, one of those purchases that really made me feel like I was doing something was this shoe. Not these, but these. This shoe is not an OG colorway. It originally dropped in 2006, and it was my first Jordan brand shoe that I ever had. So my parents did not really care about sneakers. They did not care about basketball. They did not think it was a worthy investment to buy like basketball specific shoes. In fact, my parents did not support me spending any money on basketball, so much to the point where I remember I had to ask a friend to buy this, send it to his house, and then I would go to his house, meet up with him, pay for it, put it in like a backpack, and kind of sneak it home. So now 20 years after the first time that shoe first dropped, I have way more shoes, very fortunate. I'm way more washed, but it is coming back for the first time. Air Jordan 14 University Blue. This shoe is dropping on March 21st for $205. It is not an OG colorway, not the Jordan 14s that first dropped in 2006, but I think it is one of my favorite colorways of the 14s ever. Not just like the personal story behind it, just in a vacuum. I love black sneakers. I love the UNC blue on a Jordan brand shoe. So there just really is not much to complain about. And now in terms of the box, they are bringing back the Michael Jordan face box from the early 2000s. So we get it back here again. I no longer have the box of the 2006 version, but if memory serves me correctly, it was not the Michael Jordan face box back in the day. And in terms of the materials, you might think that it's exactly the same as the 2006 version, but it's actually slightly different. So back in the day, when it first dropped, it actually came in that kind of synthetic nubuck that they still use sometimes. This time, this is more like a buff down suede. It is not like felt material, so it's not as trash, but it's slightly different. It might look kind of similar in images, but it's not exactly identical. And in terms of the quality, I don't think it's like the best or anything. You can already see some of the marks. And yeah, you'll get that on like regular nubuck as well, especially on an all black shoe. Can't really avoid that, but I was kind of surprised when I first like pulled the shoe out of the box. Now, one pretty cool thing about the 14s, just like the 5s, is this asymmetrical ankle collar, and that's supposed to kind of mold around to the shape of your foot. And then moving up the tongue, you will see that little Jumpman on the bottom with these black laces and these metal-like lace tips. The Jordan 14 was the first Jordan brand shoe to actually start incorporating these. Now the shoe just comes with one set of laces, no extra laces, just black. That was probably the only color I would use for this shoe specifically. And there's two little Jumpman on these lace tips too. And fun fact, the Jordan 14 has actually 14 Jumpman logos across both shoes. So at the bottom of the eye stays, that Jumpman, that's 1. The 2 lace tips, that's 3. The outsole, that's 4. The insole, that's 5. The back of the shoe, that is 6. And the badge itself, that is 7. You will see that Jumpman Ferrari inspired badge. And the reason why they use this was because the entire shoe itself was inspired by the sports brand. So that shield kind of badge, really cool there. And moving around to the booty of the shoe, you will get that Jumpman branding with 23 on the back. And the surface of that is meant to look like tires. Really love how that looks. And you will see on my original pair that 23 in Jumpman has yellowed quite a bit. Of course, aging will do that to this shoe. And one thing to point out is that little strip of blue on the heel tab that was actually suede in the 2006 version. And you can clearly see in the 2026 version, it is not. And what you'll notice are those little UNC parts coming up to the upper of the shoe, and that is in the University Blue. Now compared to the original, of course, again, aging and like time will change the shade of the blue a little bit, but you do see the new pair is kind of a bit more vibrant. I can't remember if out of the box, this one from 2006 was this vibrant, but yeah, you can definitely see a slight difference up close. Now, another thing that I have to mention when it comes to these pieces that come up to the upper, that is just glued down, so I feel pretty rough. If you play ball in them, it can start to peel. You can see my old pair there that's like nearly 20 years old has held up pretty well, but in terms of the color and the paint on it, it's just all scuffed up. And then in terms of the tongue, you'll get this pretty unique tongue on the 14s. It's just like a rectangular shape going all the way up to the Jordan branding at the very top, and then the Roman numerals for 14 right behind that. And one thing that's really annoying about this tongue, that was my biggest complaint when I used to play in them, is the tongue would just kind of move to the side. And in terms of the cushioning, the Jordan 14 does come with a Phylon midsole with a Zoom Air unit in the heel, as well as the forefoot. And you will see right around this midsole area, this little ventilation hole lets through some air there. And in terms of the outsole, majority herringbone, you get another 14 and Roman numerals there. With the Jumpman, right in the middle of that cutout, that is a solid TPU kind of midfoot shank, and that increases stability as well as rigidity. It is not carbon fiber. There was only one OG colorway that actually dropped with carbon fiber as the plate here. And traction-wise, herringbone, tried and true. If you still want to play ball in these and you're in a decently maintained gym, this will definitely be enough. And the insole of the shoe, this is pretty regular for a Jordan 14. You get the Jumpman branding, of course. And on the back, you'll get these two blue pods that provides just a tiny bit more squishiness and padding there. But I don't want to pull it fully out. It is stuck there quite tightly. But you can see the 2006 version also has a similar type of insole. In terms of sizing and comfort, I am a wide and flat footer. For Jordan 14s, actually fits me pretty well, with a little bit of like wiggle room in terms of the length as well. I don't go down half a size because I think the arch area of my foot, because I have flat feet, this would just kind of dig up, wouldn't feel too good, especially with this kind of solid plate right here. So I still go true to size, but I have played a ton of hours in the 14s and it never really gave me any like heel slippage problems. So if you do have wide and flat feet, I do recommend staying true to size. Comfort-wise, it is one of the more comfortable old retro Jordan shoes, especially considering that it's pretty lightweight for its time, especially. Doesn't actually feel super like bulky and heavy like the very old Jordan shoes, like the Jordan 4s, 3s, 5s, and it's also super low profile. So again, if you play ball, you really want like that kind of low court feel. But if you don't love that, if you prefer to walk on shoes that are like super thick soled, like a lot of like casual shoes that are coming out nowadays, you might not like this. And that brings the total sole score of the Jordan 14 University Blue to 30.5 out of 40. A pretty good score compared to other general releases. Now first, it is colorway. I'm a black sneaker lover. I am a UNC blue color lover on Jordan brand shoes. This is, yeah, doesn't really get much better than that for me personally. I just love the combination of these two colors. And in terms of the materials, not the best, honestly. The suede isn't like super premium, doesn't feel like very plush, very velvet. So don't expect like the best type of suede here. And in terms of the comfort, I think the 14s are generally quite comfortable. Very low profile, pretty light for its time, especially. The cushioning, you can feel some responsiveness. It can be a little outdated. It's not very like soft, doesn't have like a lot of plushness or bounciness, especially compared to a modern day shoe. But for like casual use, walking around, definitely pretty good. And in terms of the versatility, the shape of the 14s are obviously kind of different. So it's not super versatile for like a general broad audience, but I don't think it's as nuts as like the Jordan 8, the Jordan 9 even. I think that's kind of out there in terms of how boot-like it is. The wearability of the colorway though, it is pretty good. All black sneakers, not as wearable as like an all white sneaker, but still nothing that is too loud, too bold on this color. The UNC blue, I think, is still pretty wearable paired with the black, hints of like silver. Yeah, overall, decently versatile shoe. In today's throwback of the day, it is the Jordan 14 Thunder that first dropped in 2014, fresh off the back of the Jordan 4 that dropped in 2006, as well as 2012. This is obviously a very similar colorway to the University Blue. Swap out the UNC to the Thunder Yellow, and you got a very clean looking Jordan 14. And this shoe, as far as I can remember, has not retroed yet. So it's been 12 years, maybe it is time. When I saw this shoe was gonna return, it immediately hit me with like insane nostalgia. Like I said in the intro of my video, the first time I bought this colorway was kind of like transition from a kid to a teen. So when I saw this coming back, personally for me, Really felt like a full circle moment. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Sole inclined. Let me know what you think of the Air Jordan 14 University Blue. Like, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. And remember, tomorrow may never come, so wear your shoes.